I'm at one battery, I think, so I need to hurry. Hey y'all, what's up? It's Brandon Lord. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be discussing the pros and cons of being an accountant. I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. Quarantine's hard. Anyways, yeah. If you want to get a little sneak peek or like a little view of what my life working as an accountant is during quarantine, then you should watch my latest video. It'll be linked down below in the description box, of course. So, moving on. I have a few pros and cons that I thought of by myself, and then I kind of resorted to Google to see what Google was telling y'all if you ever try to Google it. And I actually had a lot of the same ones. There were a few that were a little different, so I added what I thought was relevant or what I agreed with to the list. But for the most part, I came up with these pros and cons, okay? With some of these pros, there is a con on the flip side. So keep that into mind whenever you're thinking about something. The first pro to being an accountant is job stability, which I for sure agree with. This was the first pro that instantly came to mind. I think I've said it in a video before that accountants are the last to go whenever there's like a firing season or whatever. And it's true. And nothing was made more true than during this quarantine. We had our jobs just fine, thankfully, and I was able to just work from home and do everything the same. So I'm very thankful for that. And just even when something like this isn't happening, accountants usually are the last ones to go. So keep that in mind. You don't have to have like a pandemic happen for like you to keep your job. I think that's definitely something to like take into consideration if you're considering becoming an accountant. And then a con, or should I go through all the pros and then all the cons? I guess I'll go through the pros and the cons that go with the pros, I'll say those cons. But then after that, I'll just go with the cons that were just like standalone cons. So, another pro is there is the potential for great pay. You can get paid a lot as an accountant down the line. So, there's definitely opportunities to like make a lot of money and really be financially like set. However, a con with that is the starting pay usually isn't that great unless you have your CPA. But to do that, you have to get your master's or be in the process of getting your master's. Had I known that, maybe I wouldn't have gotten my master's. At least not right away. I don't know. I go back and forth. As I've made a video before, I'm actually going to start taking the CPA exam. It's kind of been put on pause because of all this stuff, and like they're not even having testing as of right now. So I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to like take the exams. And like, I'm bored, but I'm not that bored to want to just like be stuck in my house studying accounting. So I'm thinking to press and play on that soon. Everything seems to be opening up a little more, at least here, so the future is looking bright when it comes to that. Yeah, so like the starting pay with accounting, like if you were just coming out of college and like you haven't gotten your CPA license yet, isn't that great? I mean, it could be worse. Here's the thing. I would just say don't go into it thinking that you're automatically gonna make a lot of money. Because the truth of the matter is, if you just get your bachelor's, at least from what I've seen or like what I've experienced, just getting your bachelor's and even just getting your master's isn't necessarily enough to make a lot of money. Because, you know, you really need your CPA, which the master's sets up for you. But I wish I would have known that just getting the master's wouldn't at least make me eligible for a little bit more anyways. The starting pay, it could be worse. There's jobs that pay less. So it's not that it's terrible. It's just don't blindly go into it thinking that all of a sudden you're gonna make a lot of money. There's layers, which, you know, if you're willing to do and like want to do, that's fine. To some people that may be a con, so is what it is. So another pro would be being an accountant or like studying accounting really gives you a wide-based knowledge of like business. They say that accounting is the language of business, and that's true. I actually found a little thing on Google that put it into better words than I would have been able to, so I'm just gonna read it. Financial accounting is often called the language of business. It is the language that managers use to communicate the firm's financial and economic information to external parties, such as shareholders and creditors. Nobody working in business can afford financial illiteracy. a business uses their financial statements or how they're performing to make decisions going forward. So if you don't understand accounting or what's going on or what certain things mean, then that's not going to be beneficial to you or your business. Because with accounting and it being kind of like the language of business, you're getting this wide-based knowledge about a business and certain things that affect a business. It kind of sets you up to be able to prosper in other business career paths. I don't really have an experience in the professional field other than accounting, but I did notice when I was taking classes that with accounting, it really set me up to be able to prosper in all my other classes. Finance being a big one, because accounting pretty much covered everything. I would go into classes, and when they would teach stuff, there would be a lot of things that were very similar to what I already learned in accounting. Maybe a different perspective, or maybe something slightly different or watered down, but because I took accounting, I was able to use that prior knowledge to be able to do well in my other classes. Accounting helps y'all. So I would say, like, maybe even if you start off being an accountant and you decide, this might not be the path for me, but you want to stick within business, you'd have like good experience and knowledge going forward that would help you in that other position. Another pro that I would say with becoming an accountant or getting into accounting is there's a consistent work schedule. You have a 9 to 5. You can really set up a good routine for yourself as far as waking up, getting work done. But on the flip side with that, a lot of people like a consistent work schedule. I do for the most part, because you know what to expect and you kind of get used to it. You get into a routine. It's nice. However, a con is it can get kind of repetitive and a little bit predictable. For me, although I do like a routine and I like a schedule, you can kind of get into a slump and be like, oh, well, I know how my whole week's already gonna be because, I have a very predictable work schedule and I have the same things I need to do all the time. If you like consistency and you like a predictable work schedule, then accounting's perfect for you because not much is gonna change. However, if you need something that's a little more, I don't want to say spontaneous, but can change. Maybe you want like a career where you can like travel a little bit more or do something a little bit different each week or something more creative, then accounting probably isn't for you. I feel like I fall in the middle because I do like a consistent work schedule and it is nice at times to know what you're getting into and feel confident in what you're doing. However, I can kind of feel in a rut when I feel like it's very repetitive and predictable and I'm not really being challenged that much or like doing something creative. Hence why I started a YouTube channel. Anyway, another pro with becoming an accountant is it's definitely a clear career path if you stick with it. You pretty much know what you need to do going into it to be able to move up in the company, make more money, build relationships, and really take more of like a higher position in a company. It's not like hard to predict what's gonna happen if you stick with it and like do everything you need to do. But that also goes back to needing the CPA license because you definitely need that if you want to move up in the accounting world or even have your own business. You essentially know what you're getting into with accounting and where your career could go. That I do think is a good sense of predictability. The work routine kind of being predictable can get kind of annoying, but the predictability of knowing where you can go and what you have to do to get where you want to go, I feel like it's like Noah Centineo.
And before I go, I just want to say it matters not what you've done, but what you do with what you've done for others. Thank you.
But the predictability of knowing where your career could go is a good thing, I think. So that's all I really have with pros, so let's look at some cons I haven't addressed. So one con of being an accountant is it's not that exciting. I mean, at least for me, I think, it could be exciting for you. If this is something you like or like you really like doing accounting and you enjoy it and you enjoy like financial statements, dealing with financial records and like analyzing data and like cost and stuff like that, then that could be exciting for you. I guess this is more of a personal con. Well, I feel like generally people don't hear the word accounting and think exciting. And you know what? They're right. There are moments where I do enjoy it and I'm like, okay, I like this. Yeah, let me analyze this. Let me book this. Yeah. But that's not all the time. That feeling isn't necessarily consistent. And it's not like you're doing anything crazy. Like accounting isn't like, I don't know, you're not saving lives. You're not like a pop star. You're not like a TV host. You're not an astronaut. Which, you know, a lot of people find excitement and stuff in accounting. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, you know, some people don't want a career that's that exciting. So it's a con to some people, but I guess that could also be a pro to some people. It not being that exciting, because some people just want a job that they go to, get their work done, and leave. I would say though, if you want to do something that's more exhilarating or exciting, more creative and stuff like that, accounting might not be for you, which is fine. But you know, yeah, it's not that exciting. It's not like enthralling. I don't know. Some people do find accounting exciting, okay? I don't know. I don't know who they are, but some people do. Okay, and then my last con is, and I've basically seen this more so with like public accounting or like auditors, I should say, is there is a busy season. And the busy season is very busy. I've had friends who were auditors or even like tax accountants and stuff like that, where the first few months of the year are very busy and you're working late hours and you're not getting home till late and you're not getting overtime because your salary. And it can get very draining, it can get very time consuming, and it could just be awful. And you're working a lot of weekends too. A lot of times you don't have weekends. I remember somebody I knew, they would work long weeks and then they would also have to work on the weekends, and it was almost like they never had a break. They were lucky to get Sundays off, and it just becomes very time consuming within that busy season. And it might make you hate accounting. But, you know, then after though, you get through the busy season, there is a period where there's a lot more free time and not as much work, and you can take more vacation. But I guess it'd be up to you to decide whether or not you're willing to go through the busy season to get through the more chill season. I know with my job, we do have a busy week and a half every month for close. And when I say busy, it's not nearly as busy as what I previously just said with like auditors. I'm not working weekends like crazy. There may be a time I'll sign in on like a Sunday or Saturday just to check something. But even if I'm working, it's like for an hour and then I'm done. And then if I'm working late, there have been times where I did have to stay late, and like once I think I even stayed till 9, but it was just like one day of like the busy week. It wasn't every day. So it really wasn't that bad. I would definitely take that into consideration before getting into like maybe more of an auditor role or like public accounting role. If you're really committed and if you're willing to put the time in, go for it. But if you don't think you're gonna be willing or like you would be happy in a job like that and it would affect you, I say don't do it. With that being said, there is other accounting roles you can take that don't have that busy season. So there's definitely options. So that's pretty much it. Those are all the cons. Those are all the pros and cons of accounting that I really thought of. There's most certainly probably more, but these are like the general ones just to kind of give you an idea or make you think about if you were like on the cusp of deciding whether or not you wanted to be an accountant or not. I hope you guys were able to take something away from this or learn a little something, even if I'm just repeating what you were already thinking or like what you've already read about. Thanks for watching. These are definitely things to take into consideration before you get into accounting or if you're thinking about it. And you know, some things you might not even realize, like you're hearing me say now a pro or a con, but you're like, oh, it won't be like that. But then when you're in it, it is. And then you're like, damn, I should have listened to Brandon's video. It is what it is. With that being said, thanks guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!